So there came a time that when there was a shift, a reckoning, and was it that conversation with your parents and your wife at that time? Was that what made you go, I am going to do the work? I know what this is. And did you have to make a plan, or did it kind of just come naturally as you were going through this shift?
There's not a plan that took place at that point. Yeah. Like, there was never a plan. That's okay. I feel like I'm talking to a lot of younger drummers these days who, let's say, like, I just turned 40 recently.
Happy birthday. You're catching up to me, man.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Coming for you, Paul.
Keep coming, man. I'm still always going to be older than you.
You're right. That's how that works. Phew. These younger guys on, social media, Instagram, Twitter, reach out to me and say, like, man, how can I really want to do what you're doing. And many times they're surprised when they hear me say, like, when I was your age, I didn't want to do what I'm doing. I just didn't know that I could do what I'm doing. And I didn't have any strategic plan. So when they say, what steps were you taking at age 20 in order to get where you are now? I was like, the only thing I was doing was trying to be as good at the instrument as possible. I was not intentionally networking with anyone. I didn't go to music school. I didn't even move to a specific city. I was just practicing all the time, playing all the time, accepting every invitation to join other people in playing, because that to me felt like that's the business card.
That's school too.
Yes, it's school and it's marketing. It's on the job training.
And it's work ethic. You're taking your craft seriously. And it's funny. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I see and I play with a lot of young people, especially in worship situations, where I just want to help them and say a couple of words and give them something to go back and think about, because there's room to grow. Let's just put it that way. And to see you mentoring these young people and actually taking the time to respond the way you're responding to these people with these inquiries is so cool and so vital to giving back. But that's the kind of guy you are. But it's important to share that information, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, thanks for pointing that out. I do spend a lot of time investing in younger generation of musicians, and it's mostly because I believe in the power of music in society. I want musicianship to be something that is persistent in all of our music circles, whether it's the Minneapolis scene or the Los Angeles scene or the Phoenix scene or whatever. Like, the young guys, man, I want them to know how much good is involved in all of this. And then I remember back to being that age myself and kind of like longing for someone to tell me what to do about it. And I didn't necessarily have helpful mentors at that point. They didn't abound. There wasn't like examples everywhere of how to do what I was feeling in my spirit to do. Like, I just want to play drums all the time. And like, there was actually a lot of people at that point that were discouraging me, saying like, music is a hard career. Like, man, I don't think you want to tour. And I'm like, no, I do want to tour. It sounds like you just don't like it. So you're telling me that I probably won't like it. But the standouts, as far as examples and role models at that time, were Dave King.
Yeah. Who has been a guest on this show before, by the way.
He's just the man.
Amazing.
And he was such an important link in the chain for me in those years. I started studying with him when I was 19. Yeah. And then, that continued through the rest of my college career. He wasn't affiliated with my college. I was studying with him privately, just in his teaching space in downtown St. Paul. But his words and his role modeling of what being a freelance drummer was, like, he was doing the thing that I am doing now. For the first time, I'd never seen anybody like play rock and play jazz play in studios and play live and like hustle around town. At one point, he was giving me free lessons in exchange for driving him to his gigs, because he and his wife at the time only had one car, and there were like some transportation issues.
Oh, that's like, classic.
Steve, what if we do like a couple lessons a week on the house, and then you like drive me around a little bit coming up here? And that lasted for maybe 5 or 6 months.
That's unbelievable. The barter system is alive and well.
Well, and again, to your point about school, man, that was school.
The hang was school.
Yes, watching him play with this band, watching him play with this other band. In both situations, I was not old enough to be allowed into the venue, but I was, because I was with him. Mm-hmm. And then after the show, we hang out with all the people that he was playing, and I listen to the way they have conversation and how they interact and all that kind of stuff. And then we're in the car on the way back to his apartment, and we're listening to tunes in the car. And I mean, I got such a robust education from him, and it was all in this vein of freelance drummer. So I guess back to your question, like there was a point where I decided, where things changed for me and I got a little more serious about it. And it was that late 20s, a little bit of a crisis. Like, can I even do this? Is this even possible? And having my parents, my dad, lifelong pastor and whatnot, having him say, yeah, I think you can do it. And you just should keep pushing. Wow. I was like, okay, you know what? All right, fine, I will. And that was the moment where I think I committed, because even through my 20s, after having studied with Dave, early 20s and into my mid 20s, hustling around town in Minnesota and like able to make ends meet with the income stream, but having to really work my ass off, and then like always wondering, like, is this going to last? Am I just doing this for another year because I can? And like, but this is the last year that I'll do it.
Boy, is that the age-old question in a freelance musician's life? What's next? Is this going to?
I still feel that. I mean, I still feel that now. Okay, you too.
Hey.
Great.
You'd think that would go away at some point in your life, but guess what? It doesn't.
What hasn't persisted is self-doubt.
Right.
Like I think 27-year-old me was like, am I good enough to do this? Mm. And then that conversation with my dad tilted me into like, you know what? I'm going to make sure that I am good enough to do this,